we focused on the perspective of care workers, because that was really interesting to us. Care work, just to give a context for this, unpaid care work is oftentimes done by women, but not only, right? And care work, what is that? That's childcare, but also caring for elderlies. It's also caring for people with maybe disabilities who move in a wheelchair. Research from the last decades shows that these care workers have very different mobility patterns than our formalized commuters. What care workers do is they have a very different pattern. They don't move linear, but they move in very complex patterns. It's a smaller area that they work, that they move in, sometimes only the neighborhoods maybe. But they always move, or not always, but they often move from, not from A to B, but they move from A to B to Z to A to D to A to F, G, and so on. So care workers have very different mobilities. And if you want to plan for these needs, you have to take these into account. So now I come to my case study. I work in the city of Hamburg, and we work a lot in applied innovation and research projects with the city of Hamburg together. And we look at digital tools and technologies and the use of data for city planning, for urban planning. And we are working on a connected urban twin project. So we work on a digital twin of the city of Hamburg. What does this twin show us? And how can this twin help us to move into the direction of a sustainable transformation of our city, and so on. So there's a large data gap on other forms of mobilities, plus, of course, the large data gap of what is actually unpaid care work in our society, because we don't have any data on that either. So we asked ourselves, how can we build this twin that is going to be used for mobility planning if this twin cannot include these perspectives, because we don't have the data? So we wanted to implement an experiment where we can collect this data, make it visible, make these topics visible, ask these people, these stakeholders of our city, these citizens, these care workers, ask them, what are your mobility patterns? What are your needs for mobility? And how can we make sure to see these when we plan for our city? And so what we did is we built two connected tools. One is a urban data collector and one is an urban data narrator. And so, yes, so we had, for a couple of weeks, we had this experiment where we invited care workers to the research lab, let them map their mobilities. It's not quantitative. So it's not, we cannot use this data and say, we know now that 30% of all Hamburgers, like people in Hamburg, need this or that, right? So it's very qualitative data. But it has made visible this topic, which is very important. So it has brought this to the attention of policymakers. We have so many people, we have so many different needs, and we need to include these views and these perspectives into our planning.